أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters. We begin today with the dua. Allahumma inna as'aluka ilman nafiyan wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutaqabbalan. O Allah, I ask you for knowledge that is beneficial. I ask you for provision that is good and pure, and I ask you for deeds that are accepted. We at the Debe Islamic Association shall be completing our 14th day of fasting in the month of Ramadan. As such, we will be discussing the Makkan Surah chapter 105, Surah Al-Fil, the chapter of the elephant. As part of our Ramadan reminders, we are in the second 10 days of Ramadan, the days of forgiveness. And as such, we will recite the dua that is recommended. Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbi wa atubu ilay. I ask forgiveness of my sins from Allah, who is my Lord, and I turn towards Him. For many years, worshippers would flock to Makkah to perform the pilgrimage annually around the Kaaba, the house built by the Khalilullah, the friend of Allah, Prophet Ibrahim. But even though the people knew the Creator was Allah, Shaitan was able to influence them so that they began to worship their own gods, the head gods of which were Allat and Manat. Simultaneously, the Abyssinian Empire was a large Christian kingdom which spanned Ethiopia and Eritrea south of the Red Sea, and Yemen on the northern side. At that time, in the 5th century, the viceroy of Yemen was a man by the name of Abraha, and he sought to attract pilgrims to his city. And in that way, he would increase his trade as well. So, his method of doing this was constructing a large cathedral in Sana'a. However, this attraction failed to draw the pilgrims, and he set off with his army, including elephants, to destroy the Kaaba. Abraha set off with his army of elephants to destroy the Kaaba, which was cared for by the Prophet's grandfather at that time, Abdul Muttalib. This incident unfolded in the year that the Nabi was born, and it was aptly named the Year of the Elephant. The army put up camp outside of the city of Makkah, and some of them made a foray in which they were able to capture a few hundred camels prior to their main attack. Eventually, Abdul Muttalib came and met Abraha to discuss terms. When Abraha saw Abdul Muttalib, he was impressed by him and inquired what were his wishes. So the conversation goes like this. Abdul Muttalib said, I would like the return of my camels alone. To which the viceroy said, you are asking me about a paltry 200 camels when the matter of the house of your religion is at stake? And Abdul Muttalib replied, verily, I am the lord of these camels. As for the house, it has its lord who will defend it. And Abraha replied, I agree to your wish. I cannot be prevented from destroying it. So Abdul Muttalib replied, then so do. And the matter ended there. The Quraysh chieftain returned to the city and ordered all of the people to leave and go to the safety of the mountains. Then he made supplication to Allah to defend his house. When morning came, Allah tells us how the battle unfolded in the surah as follows. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? And just as a little reminder, Look at the first letter there. It's an alif with a fatha on it. Normally when this occurs at the beginning of an ayah, it is a representation that this ayah is a question. So Allah is asking, have you not seen? So it is reported that when the army approached the outskirts of the city, somewhere between Muzdalifah and Mina, which are two famous stations that those performing the Hajj visit, the biggest elephant, Mahmud, would kneel down and not step in the direction of the Kaaba. However, by lots of prodding and beating and pulling by the army, right, he would eventually turn into any other direction. Then he would get up and walk in that path. They, with great effort, would stop him and try and turn him back to the Kaaba. Anytime he's facing that direction, he would kneel and would not take one step into that direction. So Allah is reminding the Quraysh of this story by asking them of what is fresh in their memory, of how He, Allah, dealt with those that opposed the wrong path. Allah now goes on by asking another question. Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. Did He not make their plan go astray? If we look at this situation, we can see the odds may have looked in great favor to Abraha and his vast army against an old defenseless city. But they planned, and Allah planned, and He, Allah, is the best of planners. So Allah reminds them exactly how He defended His house. وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ. And Arsala. If we look inside there, you'll see the letters Ra, Sin and Lam, which is actually the word we are accustomed to, Rasul, which means a messenger or a sender. So, and He, Allah, sent alayhim, against them, upon them, over them, Toiran, birds, ababil, in flocks. And Allah continues the story. Tarmihim bihijaratim min sijil. Striking them with stones of baked clay. Each bird carried 3 small stones, one in his beak and one in each of his feet. The stones were accompanied by a strong wind, so that there was a much greater impact. And Allah concludes the story by giving the effect of what happened. And He says, فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. Then He made them like eaten up straw. And if we recall how cows eat their food and chew it up in their cud, that is what the imposing army looked like in the end. Allah had destroyed each one of them. So one of the things we can take from this surah is, whenever we are met with a situation which is haram, as a Muslim, he or she must, 1, act against it. And if that is not possible, 2, then speak up against it. And even if that is not possible, then 3, hate it in one's heart. So Abdul Muttalib was faced with such a situation, in which he had no choice but to choose option 3. So he supplicated and left it in the hands of Allah. Allah shows us a dua of such grandeur in the Quran for exactly such an act. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the best disposer of our affairs. Taking such a course of action is using tawakkul, or putting our trust in Allah. Tomorrow, inshallah, as we continue Ramadan reminders, we shall be going on to Suratul Quraysh. chapter 106. That will also be the 15th day of fasting, which will be the middle of Ramadan. So we shall now end with the dua. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Our Lord, accept this service from us. Indeed, you are the hearer, the knower. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.